Caitlin Clark injury update. Caitlin Clark, number 22 of the Indiana Fever, watches from the bench during the first half of the WNBA game against the Phoenix Mercury. The Indiana Fever fans have to wait even more for Caitlin Clark's return. The 23-year-old missed the Tuesday game against the Dallas Wings, her 11th straight miss since sustaining a right groin injury. Fever coach Stephanie White indicated that Clark will be sidelined for at least a few more weeks, with no potential return date revealed. Caitlin Clark began running full court last week and has not yet added more to her workload, White said. No return to practice, she's been able to get a little bit more of her full court running with all of her body weight. It's really building up from doing minimal to then building some endurance to do longer periods of time. She's been able to do a little more on the court in terms of how she moves, but not into practice yet, the coach added. Expand article logo. Continue reading. The 2024 number 1 overall draft pick and former Iowa standout has been sidelined for most of the season after suffering multiple injuries to her quad and groin. The latest setback came on July 15, when she was hurt late in a game against the Connecticut Sun. Indiana fans get terrible news. Here's when Fever star could return. Trump sending $2,000 stimulus check in August? Truth about eligibility and payment date. Donald Trump speaks about not using an auto pen after signing a proclamation officially declaring this National Purple Heart Day. Rumors about President Donald Trump planning to send a stimulus check, worth $2,000, in August are doing the rounds on social media. This speculation has caused confusion among Americans hoping for financial relief. But despite viral posts and several unverified articles making bold claims, there is no official confirmation from the U.S. government or IRS about such a payment. What's actually happening? At the heart of the chatter is a July 19 article by Rick Adams, suggesting that lawmakers are considering a fourth round of stimulus payments due to growing public pressure. The piece outlines potential eligibility criteria, such as $75,000 income limits for single filers, $150,000 for married couples, and additional amounts for dependents, with possible direct deposits starting in late 2025 or early 2026. Expand article logo. Continue reading. However, no legislative text, IRS statement, or action from Congress supports this claim. What do the IRS and Treasury say? Despite internet rumblings of a return, Caitlin Clark has not yet returned to Fever practice. Indianapolis. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has not yet returned to practice, coach Stephanie White said Monday afternoon. She's been able to get a little bit more in her full court running, with all her body weight, White said. It's really building up from doing minimal to then building some endurance to do longer periods of time. She's been able to do a little bit more on the court in terms of. But Clark, who has missed 10 straight games, is still a ways out from getting back on the court and continues to have no timetable for return. Clark has been out since July 16 with a right groin injury, her fourth muscle injury of the season. She got additional imaging on this injury, which showed there was no additional damage outside of the original scan she got directly after the injury, but the Fever have been taking a cautious approach to her return to ensure she is fully healthy. I know she wants to be out here on the floor, and we want her out here on the floor, but making sure that she's ready is the most important thing, White said August 3. We're going to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and go from there. Without Clark, the Fever's depth at point guard took an even more drastic hit when Ari McDonald and Sydney Colson suffered season-ending injuries August 7 versus Phoenix. Indiana signed Odyssey Sims to a hardship contract Sunday to help fill the void. The Fever, 18-14, host Dallas on Tuesday with Sims eligible to play. Chloe Peterson is the Indiana Fever beat reporter for Indy Star. Reach her at capeterson@gannett.com or follow her on X at @ChloePeterson67. Get Indy Star's Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark coverage sent directly to your inbox with our Caitlin Clark Fever newsletter. WNBA era fuels rumors of Caitlin Clark vs. Paige Bucher's showdown at Fever vs. Wings. There is no right answer to the schedule issue, but I have to say this, with less rest, more travel, putting players in positions to get hurt. This is how the Indiana Fever head coach, Stephanie White, described the regular season so far. The tight-packed schedule has led to several injuries this year. While Caitlin Clark's initial injury came as a massive setback for the league and impacted a sudden 53% dip in television ratings this season, it was not long before other big names from the league began joining her on the bench, too. From Angel Reese to Nafisa Collier, each prominent player has tackled their share of health scares so far, but the largest setback came for the Dallas Wings. As a rebuilding roster, they had to part ways with the overall number 1 pick, Paige Bueckers, due to a concussion protocol and an unnamed illness. While Bueckers did mark a powerful 35-point return to the roster, her recent back injury is a threat to the roster, especially as they face the Indiana Fever in a few hours. While the guards Bueckers and Clark locked horns for the first time on July 13, 2025, the league wants to further bank on the possibility. Or so it seems. National reporter Robin Lundberg highlighted a major blunder on the WNBA Game Day app that misled fans into thinking that they would get to watch their favorite player in action. No one really expected Clark to play against the Wings. But there was that update on the WNBA app that confused people a little bit. You can see it here. It is Caitlin Clark listed as a game time decision, Robin pointed out. The